Dermal fillers. You hear about them all the time, right? They're one of the most popular aesthetic treatments in the world, but they're also, well, they're pretty misunderstood. So today, we're going to dive in and really demystify them, breaking down the science, the safety, and yes, the artistry behind it all.
Let's start right here. When you look at a face, any face, you're not just seeing skin. Not even close. What you're really seeing is this incredibly complex, beautiful architecture. It's a delicate interplay of bone, muscle, fat, and skin, all working together in perfect harmony.
So what is it that keeps that structure looking so full and, well, youthful? What are those invisible forces at play that really define the shape of a face? That question, that takes us right to the heart of what we need to talk about first.
We're going to kick things off with the fundamental science of why faces change as we get older. And spoiler alert, it's not just about wrinkles. It's a much deeper, more structural story.
See, here's the thing. Aging isn't just skin deep. It happens on every single level of the face. Right on the surface, your skin starts to thin out because it's losing its scaffolding, proteins like collagen and elastin. But beneath that, the fat pads start to shrink and slide downwards. That's what causes things like hollows under the eyes or those lines from your nose to your mouth. And get this, even deeper, the bone itself actually changes shape, losing a bit of projection in places like your cheeks and jaw. It really is a whole face process.
And this slide gives us the perfect metaphor for one of the key players here, the facial fat compartments. The best way to think about these is like the natural pillows of your face. They're what give you that soft, full contour. But as time goes on, these pillows kind of deflate and start to slide down. And that's what leads to that hollowing and sagging.
So, if the problem is basically losing these structural pillows, what's the solution? Well, let's move into our next section, which is all about how dermal fillers fit into this picture. And that's exactly what a dermal filler is at its core. It's essentially a structural replacement. It's this gel-like substance that's injected at very specific depths to, you guessed it, restore that lost volume and give support right where it's needed most.
Now, the vast majority of fillers out there are made from something called hyaluronic acid, or HA. And as you can see here, this isn't some weird foreign substance. HA is a sugar molecule that's already in our skin, helping to keep it hydrated. Fillers just use a gel form of it that's amazing at attracting water to create that volume. But here's the real key advantage, that last point. It's predictable and it can be dissolved. That makes it incredibly adjustable and super safe.
But not all fillers work in the exact same way. Think of it like this. On the left, you've got those HA fillers we just talked about. They're like placing a ready-made pillow under the skin for instant volume. But on the right, you have a totally different class of fillers called biostimulators. These guys don't add volume themselves. Instead, they're more like a personal trainer for your skin. They stimulate your own body to build new collagen over a few months for a much more gradual, long-term result.
Of course, the question everyone asks is, how long does it last? Well, for the most common HA fillers, you're usually looking at a window of about 6 to 18 months before your body just naturally breaks down the product.
Okay, let's shift gears because this is where things get really, really serious. This isn't just a simple beauty treatment. It is a medical procedure, and it demands a profound knowledge of anatomy. We have to talk about the danger zones.
You see, a skilled injector isn't just putting a needle in. They are mentally navigating these 5 distinct layers of the face. The filler has to be placed in exactly the right spot, whether that's deep down on the bone or in a more superficial fat pad, to be both effective and, most importantly, safe.
And here's why that precision is so absolutely critical. The face is threaded with this complex roadmap of arteries. An injector's mental map of this system is their most important tool, period. Avoiding these specific, high-risk arteries is priority number 1. No question.
Because if filler is accidentally injected into one of those arteries, it can actually block the blood flow. That's called a vascular occlusion, and it is a medical emergency that can lead to tissue dying and, in the rarest, most devastating cases, even blindness. This is why your injector's training and experience is absolutely everything. All right, now that we've covered the critical science and the serious stuff, let's pivot to the final piece of this puzzle. Because, avoiding a disaster is one thing, but creating a beautiful, natural result, well, that is an art form.
The best injectors today aren't just filling lines. That's old school thinking. They're thinking about the entire face like a sculpture. The real goal, as you can see here, is to restore balance, to bring back those youthful proportions.
It's not about changing who you are. It's about enhancing your natural features, so the whole result is harmonious and subtle. You just look rested and refreshed.
And this quote from our source material really just nails the whole philosophy. It's that perfect fusion of technical skill for safety, an artistic eye for what looks natural, and a deep focus on the individual patient's goals. Which brings us to our final thought for the day. After going through the deep anatomical science on one hand and the nuanced aesthetic vision on the other, what do you think? Is it a medical procedure or is it art? The truth, of course, is that to do it well, it absolutely has to be both.